And we welcome you into beautiful One Oak Field, downtown Tulsa, where this afternoon we have a very, very, very special guest. Pitcher in the Dodgers organization, Kyle Hurt, joins Dodger Pokes. So Kyle, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, really cool story. Your dad, Kevin, played football at Ole Miss. Your grandpa played football at the University of Tampa and then in the NFL. I don't know if you know this, but Jordan Leisure went to the University of Tampa too.
Yeah.
And then you played for Kirk Mccaskill at Torrey Pines, and then Dan Hubbs, who is one of the biggest pitching gurus of all the college baseball. So take us through all those times, all the mentorships you've had.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Lige last week about him going to Tampa, and I mentioned that my grandfather went there, so that was cool. But yeah, growing up, like my grandfather and father, pretty big dudes, so I always wish I would be as big as them, but they're both a little bit bigger. So, but they definitely had a huge impact on me. Like my dad always wanted me to play multiple sports: football, baseball, basketball. I even played lacrosse competitively for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did a lot of things. My dad was always there watching practice, taking me to every tournament, all that stuff. So he's been there through it all for me, and I'm happy he gets to come out whenever he can and watch games and see the success that I have.
So him being the coach that he is, I'm sure he gets the summers off. Does he get to come see you quite a bit?
Quite a bit, yeah, but he coaches football now, so whenever he can, he'll come out. He was out here for 2 weeks about a week and a half ago, so it was a good time.
So what was it like to play for Kirk Mccaskill, obviously a major league pitcher for over 10 years in the major leagues? What was it like to play for him at Torrey Pines?
It was really cool because he obviously has been around baseball for a long time, and he was a great guy to me, took me in, like just treated me well and like coached me on things I needed to be coached about. Honestly taught me a lot about feel and like what to do and what not to do on the field, especially. Like we had some moments, like being a younger guy, like when I was in high school I did some stupid things, and he kind of
surely not.
He kind of put me in my place, which was good, and I needed that, and I'm happy that he did that because he's been through it all.
So San Diego area, Torrey Pines, and then you move on to USC to play for Dan Hubbs. Dan Hubbs was the head coach at California forever, widely known as just a pitching guru in the college ranks. Also, I don't know if people know this or not, but he was actually a pitching coach in the Dodgers organization as well. So talk about that transition from Torrey Pines to USC.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. CJ Stubbs and Garrett Stubbs went to Torrey Pines as well, and I played with them at USC, and CJ was the catcher at Torrey Pines at the time, and he kind of had a decent amount of impact of me going there. But I don't know, I visited a bunch of other schools, and USC just seemed pretty cool, and I've always known of USC because of the great football program they've always had, and baseball program obviously. But yeah, Coach Hubbs, he's a good guy. He's definitely a player's coach. Like on the field, he'll bark at you a little bit, but he kind of, at the end of the day, he has his trust in you, and he wants you to do the best that you can. So he just has all that trust in you.
So you have 3 good years there. You get drafted in 2020 after your junior year, a draft that was only 5 rounds. You get drafted in the 5th round. That had to be some tense moments, didn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty a weird day, but it was a good time, especially during COVID. It was just me and my family watching the draft, so it was definitely a moment to remember that day.
So Carson Taylor, Gavin Stone, some of the other 2020 draft picks, is that kind of special for you to have the same year to be drafted in?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get to know any of those guys until spring training last year, like right before I got traded. So I'm getting to know those guys is really cool, especially Clayton Beater, but unfortunately he's gone. But.
Yeah. So you mentioned the trade. You got introduced to the business side of baseball really early in your career. You got drafted by the Marlins in the 5th round of 2020, and then you get traded in 2021 in February. So you didn't even get to play an organized game for the Marlins, correct?
I did not, no.
So take us through the what it's like being traded, and especially being that early in your career.
Yeah, it was definitely something that I was not expecting, but I was actually down there in West Palm doing some like off-season like bullpens, working out right before spring training, and I was going to play golf one day. I was like in the car, and he just called me. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just driving." He's like, "Pull over. I need to tell you something." I'm like, "Why do I need to pull over?" And he's like, "Oh, just pull over." So I pull over, and he told me that I had been traded, and I was just like, at that moment, I was just in complete shock because I had, like you said, I haven't thrown in a game, so it was a big shock. But called my parents and agent afterwards, and they said, "This is huge. Like it's one of the best orgs in baseball. So
Yeah, so in case people want to know, Alex Vestia and Kyle Hurt come to the Dodgers in the trade that sent Dylan Floro to the Marlins in that trade. So you get traded in 2021, and you had, when you got that phone call, obviously it's a shock. That had to be absorbed by the fact that it was by the Dodgers, a team that you grew up in San Diego, so what, maybe an hour away from Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So that had to be pretty cool for you. Didn't hear in the Dodgers?
Yeah, I actually got a notification on my phone, like the ESPN thing, and I just saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it said Dylan Floro goes to the Marlins for Alex Vestia and Kyle Hurt, and I was like, wow, that was.
So you got notified in your car, and then you got the ESPN notification after that. That's cool, isn't it?
I was like, wow, it's really official now.
That's almost like playing a video game and playing yourself on the video game.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, so the big stuff, 95, 96 in the fastball, 4-pitch guy. You have the curveball, the slider, and the changeup. So talk about where your stuff's at right now.
Right now, it's all in a good place. It's just a matter of me repeating my delivery and just having full confidence in myself and not letting things distract me and umpires, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I just gotta do what I've done my whole life, and everything should be good.
Okay, so you have a great message for young kids. I always like to conclude my interviews with a message from guys like you to the younger kids that want to get into your spot someday, become a professional baseball player. You've had the best of mentorships. We've talked about them, Dan Hubbs and your grandpa and your dad, and then Kirk Mccaskill. So you've had all the great mentorship from all the things that you've learned from all these people, and then the Dodgers organization. What have you taken from that you could give to the kids?
Just to keep playing the game as hard as you can, and just keep doing what you love, and just good things will happen if you just keep playing hard. So,
Kyle Hurt, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, man.